And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Tonight's weather showing some thunderstorms here working into the Talkeetnas, maybe the Chugach Mountains there in northern Kenai Peninsula, and across the Susitna Valley into the western Alaska Range. Otherwise, pretty dry, mild night here for the upper Tanana Valley eastward into the Yukon. And rain diminishing, changing to showers over the southeast coast. Bering Sea, high pressure, light winds, dry conditions as this low takes off to the east and southeast. And for tomorrow, another sunny and very warm day in most areas of the state, most inland areas with highs in the 70s and 80s again. Afternoon showers and thunderstorms developing over the mountains here, but mostly sunny for the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta. Dry, light winds out over the Bering Sea. Still a little breezy northwesterlies here along the southwest coast to the Alaska Peninsula, but nothing too strong. And then for the day on Monday, looks like a little bit more widespread area thunderstorms here. Susitna Valley, Kenai Peninsula, down into the Kuskokwim Valley, western Alaska Range, and even Kodiak Island, Copper River Basin, along the Brooks Range. Otherwise, high pressure in the Gulf of Alaska. Partly sunny in the afternoon for the southeast coast, light winds, chance of showers down to the south. And another system brings small craft advisory level winds and rain into the central Aleutians. Otherwise, high pressure holds over the remainder of the Bering Sea northward. And for the coastal water forecasts, kind of a variable wind pattern, light and variable here for the south coast. Otherwise, south to southwest, 10 knots for the central coast. Light west-southwest winds on the north coast. Light southerly winds over the inside channels with seas running 2 feet, except up to 5 feet for Clarence Strait. And then for Monday, central southern panhandle inside waters, southeast winds 10 knots, south 10 for Lynn Canal. Variable winds 5 to 10 knots on the south coast, central coast, south at 10, and continued light winds on the north coast, south to southeasterlies there, seas running 3 to 4 feet. And for Prince William Sound and the North Gulf Coast, as well as Cook Inlet tomorrow, variable winds at 10 knots, seas 2 to 3 feet. Westerlies 15 knots, Kamishak Bay and the Barren Islands. And then for Monday, light variable winds continue, Prince William Sound and the North Gulf Coast, with seas running anywhere from 2 to 4 feet. Southeast winds 15 knots for Kamishak Bay and the Barren Islands. Cook Inlet south to southwest winds at 15 knots with 4-foot seas. Kodiak Island, southwest breeze at 15 knots tomorrow. Bristol Bay, same forecast, southwest at 15. West-northwest winds, 15 to 20 knots for the Alaska Peninsula. And then for Monday, west-northwest winds continue at 15 to 20 knots for the peninsula. Southwest at 15 for Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island, light variable winds at 10 knots with 2 to 3 foot seas. Eastern Aleutians tomorrow. North to northeast winds 15 to 25 knots, Adak and Atka. Northeast at 15 knots, light variable winds for the western Aleutians at 10 knots, and those seas running 3 to 6 feet. Outlook for Monday, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots for the western Aleutians. Then for Adak and Atka, east winds at 15 to 20 knots. Eastern Aleutians, east-northeast winds at 20 knots. Southwest coast tomorrow, south of Nunivak Island, small craft advisories, northwesterlies at 25 knots. Otherwise, for the Yukon Delta coast and St. Lawrence Island, winds will be northwest at 15, west at 20 for Norton Sound with 4-foot seas. St. Matthew Island, southwest at 15, light variable winds for St. Paul and St. George, seas down to 2 feet. And then for Monday, northeast winds at 15 knots for the Pribilofs and west at 15 for St. Matthew Island, St. Lawrence Island and the southwest coast, northwest 15 to 20 knots, west at 15 for Norton Sound. Eastern Beaufort Sea coast for Sunday, northeast winds 10 knots, northeast winds 15 for the central and western Arctic coast, Chukchi Sea, west-northwest 10 to 15 knots. No change for Monday for the Chukchi Sea. West-northwest winds 10 to 15 knots, northeast at 15 on the western Arctic coast, central coast even lighter, northeast at 10 knots, and very light winds for the eastern Beaufort Sea coast.